Shot over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And my questions won't be on camera, so if you can
Answer them.
Thank you.
Like Jeopardy.
Yep.
Showing my shades.
Cool guy.
RS, Rockstar. Get on the phone and
You gonna get on the phone too? Okay.
That happened you were talking about.
Gosh, let him do it.
Hang on. I need this one.
Well, that was good. You gonna wear the glasses?
No, alright.
She said pick.
Oh, you can wear them. Do you want
It's
to wear
my
them?
image.
I don't want to ruin your image. You can wear them.
It would be tough to do that, trust me.
Tell me about the first time you did a backflip.
First time I did a backflip was Halloween. I'd say the first backflip I ever pulled was Halloween day, which was super cool because it's kind of an evil day and it's an evil trick. So it all came together, all the forces of evil came together that day and let me pull a backflip.
What's evil about it?
What's evil about it? It's a life or death move. The backflip is seriously, when you go to do it, you're like pretty much deciding, you know, you're doing a move that could pretty much take you out. You know, other moves, you fall off the bike, whatever. This move is pretty much throwing it all on the line, and that's why it's so exciting.
Is there still a fear factor involved? Do it every time you do it?
Anyone that says they're not scared doing the backflip is lying, because I know I'm scared every time just because it's so gnarly. You know, sometimes I'm more comfortable than others, but basically every time you have that, I don't know if you want to call it fear or adrenaline, it's pretty much the same to me, is just that rush of, you know, it's, I don't know, some people I guess call it fear.
With more and more riders doing it now, it seems like you have to have that plus something. What is the plus something that you have to have?
Man, I would say, I see a lot of the riders, it's so close nowadays. You know, you watch the guys, everyone looks so close, and luckily there is moves like the backflip that do separate these guys so people can still see, you know, who's stepping up and who are the hardcores of the sport, just taking it to the next level. You know, backflip will eventually be phased out, and there will be another move. It's just never going to end. That's what's cool about our sport. So,
What do you think the next move is going to be?
the next move is going to be a secret, so you guys don't copy me. No, alright. The next move will probably be a double backflip or a barrel roll or something like that, I'd say. You know, it's never going to end. Otherwise, our sport would be done, and I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Do you think people training in foam pits now is what's advancing the sport?
For sure. The foam pit is obviously enabled a lot of guys to do the backflip, to where I'd say Metzger, myself, Pastrana were guys who had to just go out and try it on dirt. You know, the first few times I tried it were before X Games last year. The day before I left, I just put sawdust on a landing and just went for it. Crashed 3 times super hard because it's like a motion you get in your head, and when you're upside down, it's just committing. It's like a commitment that you've never done before. So I just didn't have it in my head and just couldn't do it. So I learned the hard way, and then finally I just practiced on a bicycle and went to a dirt landing and just said, you know what, I'm going to just hang on to this thing and see what happens. And it was probably one of the gnarliest fears or feelings I've ever had, was lining up to the ramp and going, alright, this is it. Like, you're going to pretty much hang up your leathers and be done riding, or you're going to step up and keep trying to win, you know, in the sport. And I sat there and just thought, and then finally it just clicked in my head. I was like, just go for it. Just pin it, and I just pinned it and hung on, and next thing you know, I came around, I landed it, and it was one of the biggest accomplishments I'd say I've ever done, and it just makes things in life that much easier. Like, conquering fears like that make you that much stronger in life. Like, just little things are like, everything just seems small nowadays, like just in life, you know, it's like the dirt bike takes it to the next level.
what do
That
you?
lecture
That's
stories.
perfect. That's great. We're also doing a piece on. It's called "It Came from Surfing," because surfing's now going to be part of the X Games.
Is there?
Yeah.
Huh?
Added this year, and surfing has its own lifestyle, like subculture, language, and everything. It seems like that was maybe the grandfather of action sports.
Surfing, yeah.
Do you see any? Do you think that? Do you see where surfing kind of followed that?
I would say surfing was the first cool sport that people actually had respect. It's like surfing's all about, seems like just respect, and the top guys are respected for what they do because it's gnarly. I'd say surfing, it's got its own culture, and you just don't mess with it. That's just how it is, and that's what's cool. And that's what I see in freestyle motocross. We got our own group, our own culture, and you just don't mess with it. That's just how it is. I mean, it's respect, all about grabbing your surfboard or your dirt bike and blowing it up, and people are like trip, and that's pretty much, you gotta respect that.
That's it. Thank you very much. It's great. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Do you, sir?
No, I forgot to say that.
Tell me about when you first heard people were doing backflips.
Well, it kind of just was like a surprise when Hart stepped up at Gravity Games. Like, he was talking about doing a backflip, and I didn't really believe him. And he just I think he just shocked everybody in Gravity. And then it was kind of like everyone saw it was done, but no one really went out and tried to learn it right away. It wasn't really until like Gravity Games last year when Metzger and Pastrana were flipping back like constantly through the run to where you were just like, I have to go learn this, But I heard about, I think I saw Metzger at Deegan's house, and he's, I'll be at my house tomorrow morning at 8. I'm riding out of a backflip. I got there at like 8:15, and he already like did like 3 out of 5. I like missed the first couple of ones, but it's kind of blew my mind because it's just, it's not something you think could really be done, and you can do it all day long once you learn how to do it. So it's just kind of a progression of the sport, I guess.
How long did it take you
Learn it.
to learn it?
Took me a while. Like, I took my time. I wasn't really in a rush. Like, I didn't want to. I knew how gnarly it was, and I didn't want to take myself out and be off my bike for a couple months and not be able to ride. So, and I had the benefit of using a foam pit. Like, I got mad respect for the guys who put their careers on the line and try to learn it over dirt, because you are risking a lot, and most of the people don't pull it. You're lucky if you don't end up in the hospital when you jump off upside down with a 200-pound bike above you. So I went up to Kerry Hart's house and learned into his foam pit. Like, started on a bicycle at Real Ride down in Paris, and I went up to Dave Mears' house and flipped a 50 into his foam pit. And I went up to Kerry's house and started on my 250 and did it like 20 times up there, and then I ended up broke my ribs riding just in my backyard, and went to Australia for a month and came in from Australia, and me and Deegan and a couple other riders built a foam pit at Brian's house, and flipped that probably 50 times when I got home from Australia. And I finally was just like, I had it in my head that I was pretty confident that I could pull it, and I just went out and tried it on dirt and still crashed the first one. Just got back up, put a new set of bars on, and went back out and did 5 the first day. Came back the next day and did 10, and then took a day off and did 16 the next day.
What was it like the first time you did it?
Is that me? Turn this off.
I interview, he does the phone rings.
The first day I did it, I was nervous. That's why I crashed the first one. I did over like 70 in the foam pit perfect, and I got so nervous. I locked up on the lip. I didn't do what I've been doing the last 2 weeks straight. I came off the lip and hesitated, and I knew it wasn't, like, I knew the feeling from doing it so much in the foam pit that wasn't the way it was supposed to be done. So I like just leaned forward because I'm like, it's not, I'm gonna get smashed. So I leaned forward and just threw the bike and jumped off, and the bike landed right next to me. So luckily, I didn't get hurt, got lucky, and, but I was like, after I crashed, I was like, all right, got that out of the way. Kind of took off a little bit of pressure because that's what I didn't want to do was crash, and I did. So I was kind of like, all right, well, crash and I didn't get hurt. I'm just gonna put a new set of bars on and try it again. So I just went in Brian's garage, took a set off his bike, and went back out. I did one more in the foam, and then I pulled the first 5, and I mean, nothing that explains how much adrenaline. I was shaking. I think my hands and the arms were, after I did it, rode out of it, I was just like, had so much adrenaline going. I was shaking, and I was just like, man, I gotta do it again. It was kind of like, at first it's one of the tricks you do, and you're pumped you did it, but it's so gnarly, like, damn, I gotta do it again. To now, like, I've done probably close to probably like 80 or 90 on dirt now. Now I feel more comfortable, more confident. Like, I know I can make my wheels. I still get that gnarly rush, but it's nowhere near like when I first started. The first 2 weeks that I was doing them on dirt, every single time, I was just like real nervous. But it's definitely, you know, toned down, but it won't leave. Like today, before I had to go do the big air contest, I was nervous. It's natural, and I think that, you know, it's why we ride. You know, it gets your adrenaline, makes you feel like you're alive. It's worth it. And when you ride out of it, all that, it's so worth going through it. And like Brian said, you conquer your fears. You know, because it's, you know, it's something that you kind of are scared of, because you know you could end your career. You don't wanna, but it could happen. And putting yourself in that position, if you don't do it right, you know, you could not ride again. And you know, you don't want that to happen. And then when you overcome that and can do it, just nothing can compare to it. It's worth it. You're like, best feeling in the world, I think.
Is that because you can't see the landing?
Yeah, it's blind. You don't see nothing until right before you hit the landing. Like, spot your landing and see it, but it's just, I mean, you know, it goes against what you were taught on riding a dirt bike. Like, when you grow up riding a dirt bike, no one tells you to lean back off a jump. You always lean forward, because that's which, you know, leaning back's like the wrong thing to do. And then to get it, I don't know, it's still pretty gnarly. When I think about it, you're flipping a 200-pound dirt bike over 50 feet. You know, you're probably 25 feet in the air. It's pretty sick.
What do you think? What do you think's going to be next? How many people now have the backflip?
There's definitely like variations, like no-footed backflips. I'm sure, I guarantee you probably could do like maybe a can backflip, or if people already do one-handed backflips, I'm sure no-handed backflips are going to come in. Barrel rolls, rodeo flips, maybe 360s. But I think people are going to start flipping the big jumps now. It's like at 50 feet off the steep ramp. I think in the next year or so, they'll probably start flipping the regular ramp at like 75. Because Metzger already flipped 80 foot last year at the X Games off of dirt to dirt, so it's obviously can be done. Just making that commitment, being willing to hang on for that long, be upside down for that long. But I guarantee it's going to happen, and everyone's going to have to do it. Once everyone starts, it's just like now, everyone's doing the flip, you have to do it. If you want to stay on top of the sport, you have to flip. Unless you're not going to win.
And then over the 80 foot, you can do a double flip.
Yeah, I'm sure you can pull that. I mean, it's just a matter of time. You know, it's not going to stop. Like, look how much the sport's progressed each year. If you follow freestyle from the beginning till now, each year it progresses so fast. So it blows my mind. I ride every day. It's just like, for someone who doesn't ride, it has to be out of hand.
Do you think it's the foam pits that are?
Yeah, the foam
making you
pits,
go so
yeah,
fast
it's definitely, foam pit, you know, it's a huge bonus, just like in the BMX world. It's like, it's endless, you know, you can try whatever, you can just be open-minded and try something, and, you know, it's pretty safe, you know. I've never seen anyone get hurt in our foam pit, so it's still sketchy though. You drop out pretty far into a foam pit on dirt bikes. It's not the softest landing. It's not like jumping into it with a bicycle, but it's definitely safer than trying stuff over dirt.
Right. Mentally though, taking it from the foam pit to the dirt, that's gotta be.
It's just like the next step. It's like a learning process, and like if you have it on the foam, you have it in the dirt. It's just be committed and do what you've been doing. You know, the only thing I did wrong that first one was I didn't commit. That was it. It's a full commitment. You have to be 100% committed when you're coming at the ramp. You have to know that you're doing it. Don't come off the ramp and decide you want to do it, because it won't come around. It has to be. When you put your bike in gear, you have to be 100% committed.
Okay. And now on to surfing. You know, your vast experience with surfing. How would you compare?
Surfing and motocross? Wow. I mean, all action sports, I think, are pretty similar in like the way all the athletes find something that they love and dedicate themselves to it, and that's why they're so good at it. It's like, you know, so, you know, all the surfers they're sick. They risk their lives. Them guys, big wave riders and the reef and sharks, and you guys put their life on online and bang their heads and drown at times. So it's like it's gnarly, dude. The ocean's strong. Like I don't mess with the ocean too much, but you know, they go off. It's sick. But I mean, as far as like, it's two different worlds though. You know, they're swimming. They're in the water. We're on the dirt. They get to get tan. We wear 100 pounds of motocross gear, but it's still an action sport, and they still dedicate themselves to it just like we have to. And, you know, that's why they get good. It's like anything.
It's their philosophy, their way of life. Whereas you guys have the same.
Yeah, like I've never really hung out with too many surfers, but I know that they're all like they like respect the ocean. Like when they're in the water, like I've seen it in the movies and stuff. Like you can't snake in on people, or you know, you get your leash cut, or they'll box you, dude. I watch that dude Garcia. I'm down with Garcia. I like him in that show. With that surf show, it's on TV. He's always knocking people out. He's over it. I like his style. He doesn't take anything from nobody, dude. He like the way he grew up is like respect. Like someone looks at his chick, he's on him, dude. Like don't disrespect me, my lady. This is my land. That's my ocean. I kind of like that. It's tough, you know. But same thing with us. Like our crew, the militia, it's just all respect. You know, we just ride together, just because that's what makes us happy, pretty much.
That's
Alright.
it.
Sweet.
The end. Thank you very much, guys, for
All
coming
right.
here.